Hey family, how y'all doing? I'm Dominique Bishop. This is Mantle Motivations. Today I have a very special guest, Mrs. Narzell McCullough, aka Coach Zee. How you doing, Coach Zee?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I love the energy, always. Like I love the energy. Man, that's why I love watching your Instagram videos and stuff, because the energy be coming through, especially when you playing that house music in the morning.
But energy never lies. People
I
lie,
live.
words lie, vibes never lie.
There you go. I live for those videos. All right, let's go ahead
For
and get into your
sure.
bio. Yeah. All right. So Coach Z's goal is to help clients achieve a balanced lifestyle that encompasses all dimensions of health and wellness, mind, body, and spirit. As someone who has struggled with weight for most of her life, she learned the importance of nutrition, strength training, and releasing trauma to attain her own goals. She was eager to share her knowledge and in 2016 became a certified personal trainer. Over years, she has added under her belt the qualifications of somatic therapist. I say that right?
Yes.
Good. Somatic therapist, motivational and accountability coach, and an assisted stretch therapist. Coach Z was even an amateur female boxer for about 6 years until a life changing accident happened. She lives by the mantra you can rise up from anything, you can completely recreate yourself, nothing is permanent, you're not stuck, you have choices, you can think new thoughts, you can learn something new. You can create new habits. All that matters is that you decide today and never look back.
Mm.
Amen. Hallelujah. Let's pass the
Ain't that a word?
collection plate around for that. Right, right.
That's a word.
I love it. All right, Coach Z. So tell the people a little bit more about yourself outside of what we know from the bio.
Okay. I feel like I have uncovered my superpower. I am very, very intuitive. I know what I know before I even know that I be knowing it. And
Perfect.
energy does not lie. And when it comes to fitness and getting healthier, sometimes a lot of our things is the first thing we want to run to is nutrition and fitness. And yes, that is very, very important. But if you're always in a constant state of fight or flight, you build cortisol. Your body can't regulate that you are relaxed enough to even begin the process of losing weight. So I found that helping process trauma will help you in a myriad of ways. And it kind of starts with that. Sometimes we kind of start so big. So I also believe that as a healer, my job is not to heal people. My job is to stand there as a reflective mirror so that they can create their inner healer so that they can heal themselves. That's what I do. So I always tell my clients, I don't do anything for you because I still have to do for me. What I do is I show you what it's like to live life authenticity and, as yourself. And that sometimes gives people the idea and the courage to live their lives as themselves. And so that's why I believe I was saved from my accident.
There you go. I like that. I love
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
And we're gonna get into that. So first and foremost,
Mhm.
tell me, girl, because these
Mhm.
Instagram videos you be posting, I told you they give me life. So
Okay.
where do you pull your strength from, your energy, your charisma? How are you able to wake up every morning and be on like level 10,000? I mean, help me with that, sis. What's up?
So this is God given.
Okay.
And I feel like before even my accident, I've always been like this my entire life. Narzell actually means uniquely overzealous in Creole. And I used to feel torn because I used to want to be myself all the time, but I used to feel this pressure like, no, it's too early. You don't want to disrupt. You don't want to shake the boat. And I got to a point where I didn't care what other people think because when you have a certain level of self-acceptance, you're not watching for people to judge you. because my granny always told me, if you like by everybody, you're doing something wrong. And so I just got to a point where I just didn't care. So I've always been like this. You and I have been, we went to school together. So my energy levels have always been high, but every day I wake up with gratefulness. So I do certain mantras, certain rituals, if you will, when I wake up. The first thing I do when I open my eyes is I thank God for a chance and a choice.
Amen.
Every time, every
Yeah.
single time, because the chance is me opening my eyes, because there are a lot of people who don't get the opportunity to do that. And then my choice. So I can either walk in my light or I can walk in my darkness. It's still my choice. Like, and I think being grateful for what I have, for where I am, for what's happened in the past, and being accepting of where I am and what's happened in the past and what's to come in the future allows me to vibrate at my highest vibrational timeline. And that's where this energy comes from. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm human. And it's not to say that I don't have bad days, but I think of life like a car battery. So, or my phone battery. So this phone, it may be 37%, it may be 96%. But what I do is I show up fully as myself every day. So that's where this energy comes from. And I just be,
Yeah.
this is all a matrix. This is a game. So I give main character energy daily. That's how I do this.
There you go. Yeah. Also, I remember high school, and then also
Yes.
we met up again
Mhm.
at Chase because it
Yes.
was so funny. I was like, kept looking at you. I was like, I know her from somewhere. You kept looking at me. You know you from somewhere. And finally one day we actually walked up to each other and was like,
Yes.
I
We
know
put
you.
the two together.
Right, we did it. So shout out to all the Thornwood Thunderbirds, baby.
Period.
Um,
T-birds.
that part. So yeah, and you are right, because even then the energy was always, to me, it was always giving life. I enjoyed it
Oh,
because
thank you.
especially with us working night shift,
Yeah. But you're a
you
light
come
bearer yourself. So of course you were attracted to the light, whereas some people
I appreciate
are, it repels their demons. So of course you were attracted to it. So we had a
say
vibe.
that
So
again.
you kinfolk.
There you go. That right. Be repelling demons all the time.
Right,
Amen.
period.
Yeah, so that your energy, I loved it. And like I said, it gave me life. And that's why I look forward to your videos on Instagram.
Mhm.
Um, and you'll provide all your information later for everybody to follow you so they can get some of that
Yeah.
energy too. Because sometimes I wake up in the morning, I'll be like,
Yeah.
thank you, Jesus. I love you. Okay, let's go. All right. You know,
Okay.
and then you get your praises on and everything, but then I see that video from Coach Zee, I'm like, okay, okay, getting to the money,
Mhm.
okay, like, you know
Let's
what I
get
mean?
to it. Let's get
It,
to
it
it.
it helps you. So we do sometimes need those outside influences
Mhm.
to help us to stay motivated. So I appreciate that. So with that being said, how can other people learn to do the same? What changes do you think they need to make, or that needs to take place in their life for them to get to where you are? I know for you it comes naturally, but how can people make some changes in order to have that type of energy?
Getting to know yourself. Getting to know yourself. I think that a major part of the shift is they get you to forget that the freest people are children because they have an imagination. And when you stop your imagination, life is not about work, 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 pay bills,
Right.
bills, 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 bills. My best advice would be to seek what your purpose is. And people are like, I know that's so vague and so convoluted and so philosophical, but who is the person that you want to become? And how would they act and start to pretend and walk in those steps of talking and acting and being the person who you like to be, and by default you'll become that person. I know it sounds so, like, I hate that it sounds like that, but
But it's the
this is a
truth
video.
though.
It
Yeah.
is, like, it
It's the
really
truth.
is. And
Hmm.
you gotta, I want to shake people up, but I also respect people being asleep. Because one of my mentors told me that if you are constantly trying to wake up people, how do you know that you yourself are woke?
Mm.
So instead of being mad at people, I started to not even feel sorry or anything, but I started to understand some people don't have the capacity to think outside of the realms that they have been given. I don't know
Yes.
if you remember the experiment where you take some flies, you put them in like a dome, right? You put a top over it, right? For you don't touch it for a couple of days, right? When you remove the top, the flies will no longer try and escape. Then their babies will no longer try to escape. Then their babies will no longer try to escape. So
Yeah.
it's hard to tell somebody to shoot for the stars if they can't see past the living room ceiling.
Right.
So I think that you have to start with yourself. What do you like? What do you don't like? What are your hobbies? How can you make yourself the best? And I think that that'll help people try and get some of this energy, and be around people that make you feel good, people that are good for you, that love you, that make you feel loved. A lot of times people are around people just because of the titles or the
Hmm.
time and the longevity. But I have some friends who I haven't seen them in years, but I know that we can have a conversation of the deepest and the darkest you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
sometimes if you don't feel like you have a circle and you feel like people aren't where you are, a lot of people are stuck. So, check your circle too. Look in the mirror.
That part. And not just,
Yeah.
even with that, family too. Sometimes we got to cut out
Oh,
family.
let me tell you something about family
Sometimes
because
that's the
people
hardest.
love
Sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, but you got to do it for your own joy and happiness, for your own peace.
what they be like, because blood is thicker than water. I've had to tell some clients, and I've even had to tell some family members, blood clots. Okay. And sometimes your family are the friends that you didn't choose, and your friends are the family that you chose.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
whew, family is a word. Ooh-wee.
So we can have a whole nother podcast just on
That's another episode for sure.
that part. Well, speaking of family, this I
Yes.
love. I've been wanting to hear you talk about this. So I've observed
Mhm.
you in the gym with your mom, right? Um,
Mm.
why? Let me see. So I've noticed, she slimmed down a lot. You've been working with her for a minute, right? And she got some gains too. So how was it training your mother, and how has she been one of your easiest or hardest clients to train? Because that's mommy.
Okay. Okay. So let the record show outside of myself, my mother is my favorite client.
Okay.
Um, So I don't have children. Okay. So it's me and my sister and my brother, right? I do not have children.
Okay.
And that is, I've said I didn't want no kids from when I was younger. So my mama already knew the deal.
You already
And
knew.
I
Yeah.
feel like being her trainer gives us our own lane because you have to trust somebody to push you outside of your comfort zone. And let alone you gave birth to that person. So it's funny because sometimes she tries to pull that. I can't do that. But I do believe that children are there to remind parents or to give them certain lessons. And it's like, Ma, you can do anything. You've
Yeah.
always told me I can do anything. So why can't you do that? And so sometimes when I reverse it, she'd be like, well, you right, So she is so easy because I believe that fitness comes through confidence. So that's
Okay.
why I try to focus on being motivational. Your body goes where your mind goes, right? And that's
Yeah.
why it's so intimidating walking into a gym and not knowing what to do because mentally you could feel comfortable with doing anything physically, but mentally, are people looking at me? Are
Yeah.
they judging me? So we've been at it for years. And then when my youngest sister had her kids or started to have her kids about 5 years ago, my mom was like, I want to be here because you have to have a good why. And it has to be deeper than I just want to look good because,
Right.
yeah, you're going to look good, but what else is it? And then she just became just, I don't know, not obsessed with it, but just being her best self. She's almost aging backwards. Then my grandmother passed away. And instead of, how sometimes when we have trauma, it causes us to default, it caused her to boom, rush right through it. When I had
Okay.
my accident, and I started to kind of rehab myself after the doctors did what they were going to do, I said, Ma, I think I'm on to something. She's like, okay. I think that we're holding on to trauma. She's like, okay, give me more, give me more. I'm like, so I ran a default program on her. So I ran it on myself. This is typically how I come up with stuff. I run it on myself, I run it on her, and then I'll start etching it in on clients. And man, when I first started stretching her and she started releasing, she like, oh my God, and I feel so different. And yeah, for
That's what's
sure.
up.
By far, my mom is she's my favorite client. And I know you're gonna air this. No shade, no tea. I love everybody that pays me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. But that's another thing. I won't accept any money from her. So me training her, it is a love connection, because I just want her to be her best self. And then when you start
Yeah.
thinking about as they start aging, fall prevention, you know what I'm saying? A fall can take you out of here. So I want them to be able to
Yes, it
know they can
can.
catch themselves, you know.
That
We
part,
got two
bounce back.
little yes, and they rough. So when they start running around, I want to make sure that everybody is good. So yeah. Oh my God. Thank you so much for asking about my mom.
I love it. I love it. I be seeing her in the gym. She be getting it. I think one
We
time you
be in a
had
vibe.
a couple of times you had her and your auntie in there too.
Yes. So Miss Tina, I call her Auntie Tina because once you start training with me out
Yeah.
of respect, you already know it's Miss woo woo woo. So to take away the Miss, once we start training for a while, they become aunties. So yes, Auntie Tina and her, and they stay about maybe 3 or 4 blocks away from each other. They have become so close.
I love it.
Just being able to be in that camaraderie of they push each other, they have opposite strengths, so that really works where a person is weak, the other person can kind of be like, girl, you got it, you got
Yeah.
it. So my heart is full with those two.
I love it. It's so adorable.
It
Let's talk about
is.
this. Let's talk about this amateur boxing thing. I didn't know you box now. So, um, I mean, yeah. So
Yeah. So
your amateur boxing thing. So, how did that experience shape your approach to fitness and discipline before and after your accident? Because we're gonna get into that too.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Well, first, when I talk about boxing, I always have to give credit where credit is due. I want to say rest in peace, rest in paradise to my coach, Dan Bolden. I got into boxing. Wow. Oh my God. Maybe. Okay, so I started boxing 2020, like 14. So before that, shout out to Unique Gavins, one of my fraternity brothers. He got me into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
I was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. So one, I couldn't have my nails. Let's just say that. I couldn't have my nails doing the Brazilian
Z
Jiu-Jitsu.
with
And
no
even
nails. What?
do you hear me? Do you hear? So in walks this guy. And it was Dan at the time. And you know how I believe in spirit connections.
Yeah.
And when I saw him, I was just immediately taken aback. This grown big man, but he was like a teddy bear. He was so gentle with me.
Yeah.
I have to say, with me, he was so gentle with me. And I'm like, well, how much to train with you? And he tells me his prices. And I immediately go, this is too low. So I do the math. Say, if this is correct, you're getting $7.50 every time you train somebody. You can't live off that. Like that's not
Easy.
gonna work. He like, okay. I'm like, so this is what we're gonna do. We need to change your fees. We need to change your fees. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
He like,
Yellow,
okay,
yellow.
well, exact period. Okay, because you need to get the work. Okay, so we started training, and so let me explain this. As much as you see the positive in me, because I don't lock her away, I walk with her. There is a dark side to me, to everybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Boxing not only unleashed that part of me, but it allowed me discipline in how to utilize her in the right ways. Boxing was by far the hardest thing that I have ever done. Now, what's crazy is most people who box come from atypical backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? You got to get it out the mud. You got
Yeah.
to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
here I am. Yeah, I grew up on 76 and Stewart, but we was rocking in the suburbs, Cal City, Dalton, you
That
know what it
part.
is, right? Both parents in the household. So my experience with boxing was so different. And I approached it with such a respect because I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to earn it the right way. So I trained and I took classes and I started sparring and I became certified. And I just wanted to become the best person that I could be. And I got to a point where I was doing it for maybe about 5 years. So in 2014, so we get to 2021.
Mm.
Okay. No, 2020, my grandmother passes. Before she passes, I was talking, we were just talking. I was like, yeah, because grandma, I'm gonna at least do one fight. She like, okay, bet. Grandma passes in January of 2020. I get this epiphany, 2021. I'm gonna enter the amateur Chicago Golden Gloves. My
Okay.
coach is elated.
Yeah.
I'm elated. My mama's pissed. My wife is pissed.
Of course.
Everybody else is pissed. But I'm feeling it. I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
training. And I'm training and I'm training and I'm training. And man, I learned so much about myself. Like with boxing, you to be in a fight and you can't stop. And it has a lot to do with, yeah, who's faster, yeah, who's stronger. But ultimately it comes down with who wants it more. It is a test of wills.
Yeah.
Mm, mm, mm. Ooh. But so obviously it was just a great time in my life. And I oftentimes go down these like memories. So I was training, I was prepared, I was ready.
Mhm.
And in February of 2022, I was involved in an accident, and that kind of ended I say put on pause because now I feel like the universe needs me in a different way for
Mhm.
boxing. So I
Mhm.
was, once the accident happened and then my boxing coach passed away, I was like, okay, that is a chapter of my life that has ended. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it's gone forever, but maybe in that technical. So when you're going through trauma, one, you have to express it, and two, you have to recognize it because that's sweeping shit under the rug that us Black people love to do. We got to stop that shit. So during the
Speak for
time where I
real.
had the act, like for real, like
Yeah.
seriously. So when I was going through my healing process and I had lost a client unexpectedly, I had lost my boxing coach unexpectedly. I was working with my therapist, and she's like, "Yeah, well, I remember you were talking about your nails." I was like, "Yeah, I miss them." She said, "You should get them back." I said, "You're right. I should get my nails back." And now I use my nails as a way to express myself in therapy,
Yeah.
um, to know that yes, that was a part of my life, but I'm not any longer there. But I can still hold mitts and I still push my women's classes, and then I do youth boxing as a
Mm.
way to kind of submit my purpose of pouring into the youth because they need community too. So yeah, that's my boxing thing. I ain't even gonna lie. And it's crazy because when I used to say I was a boxer, and then people be like, oh, okay. And then they used to see me in the ring like, oh my God, it's so much aggression, it's so much power. Not in a bad way, but
Yeah.
that's understanding the light in the darkness. So I don't understand why people don't think when you have someone who's uberly positive, you
Mm.
have to understand there is a opposite that is just as worse. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
sometimes because my dad a Leo, and sometimes we used to watch them shows, First 48, and I look at him, and one day I remember me and my daddy. I said, "Daddy, I think we could do it." He said, "Do what?" "I think we could get away with murder." Now that's another
Hey.
episode too,
Yeah.
but
Been
I
there,
don't
done
lock her
that.
away. I work with her. I work with her. And I think that knowing when to unleash your beast and when to allow her um to protect you is very, very important. So yeah, that's my boxing career. That's
That's dope. And I love that you spoke on that because the thing about it is we have to be able to have both sides coexist,
Mhm,
not put one away and tuck it in the corner. And then when
mhm,
it does come out, it's
mhm,
and you can't put it back in. You know what I mean?
mhm, mhm.
So I love that. We can get them to coexist. And like you said, that energy can be your protector.
Yes.
And your other energy could be the giver, could be the nurturer, could be this, could be that. And
Yeah.
then boom, hey, don't mess with us. Right? So I completely
Mhm.
understand because I would tell people, especially when I was working in the jails and stuff. And
Yes.
the cellmates or the inmates would be like, "Man, Miss Bishop, you so nice, you so this, you so that." I said, "Well, understand this. Don't ever take my kindness for weakness, okay? And
Hmm.
this peace that I have came with a price.
Mm. Woo!
So I just
Preach
want to
that.
let you know that right now. You know, I was firm with them. And I respected all of them as human beings because they're human beings, right?
Yes.
And I got their respect back by doing that, right?
Yeah.
So I had a nice career as a correctional officer and as a police officer because that is just the person that I am. I'm going to treat you how
Yes.
I want you to treat me. I'm going to treat you how I, want somebody else to treat my younger brother or my grandma, or this or that. So I'm going to treat you, with good intentions. But with that being said, every once in a while, I have to remind people it's a different side. You really, truly don't want to see her. Okay. Have
We
a
could
blessed
bring them
day.
out. Bring them out.
Have a blessed day. And
Period.
sometimes, especially working in the jails and working as a police officer, people, I don't know why it is, they just want to try you. Even not just even more so in that field, but outside of that too, in everyday life. But sometimes people want to try you. You know what I mean? Because they see this piece, they see this on you, they see, and it's like, okay,
Yeah, I want to disturb it.
okay, right. So,
Yeah.
that's when that protector comes in and say, yeah, now we good. You stay over there. We're gonna stay right here. Okay. I'm gonna let you I'm gonna let you know something in a minute if you don't get back.
Find you something safe to do. That's
Say it again.
find you something safe to do. That's what we
That
have to
part.
tell them. You
Oh, they
something
say
safe
play
to do.
play with your mama, don't play with me.
I like that one too.
All right. So speaking of boxing and boxing with kids, that was going into my next question. So I know you've been doing boxing classes with children and teenagers, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. All right.
The
So
youth,
what
the
do you
teen,
think?
and
Okay, so what you think is a good age to introduce children to a healthy lifestyle, and why do you think that's a good age, or not?
the
Because
younger
not
the
just
better.
boxing, but a healthy lifestyle. Period.
So I'll say this, the younger the better.
Hmm.
Children imitate parents. Okay. So shout out to my mother because um I remember, you remember Women's Workout World and
Yeah,
Bally's Total Fitness, the kids club. I
yeah.
remember being in the kids club. Like, what is she doing out there? You know what I'm saying? So you want
Hmm.
to show kids that they can take care of themselves, the sooner the better. I won't lie. My nieces and nephews know about boxing, they know about movement, they know about weights, they as young as possible. Now, I
Yeah.
will say this, it helps you guys for parents to show them, as early as possible because they imitate those behaviors. And what
Hmm.
I hate to see sometimes is parents so willing to, because I die for my kids, but would you live for them?
Mm.
Would you show them, or would you experience a level of physical fitness or exertion that helps your kids overcome that? So I
Right.
say as soon as possible. So when it comes to like my classes, I take them as young as 5. Okay.
Okay.
Now the reason I do that is because I don't have kids and I still got to think about my mental. Until a child is about 7, the left side of their brain has not developed. So their
Okay.
ability and capacity to follow logistical instructions
Right.
coherently is a little bit delayed, but you can still do different activities. And then boys are different than girls, right? Boys learn through stimulation play.
Mm.
So because I'm a big kid myself, I do a lot of obstacle courses, we do a lot
Yeah.
of break-offs. So I take them as young as 5. I have a class for 5 to 6 year olds, I have a class for 7 to 11 year olds, and then I have a class for 12 to 18 year olds. And then,
Mm.
of course, I have the women. So I used to do the men when I
Hmm.
was actually boxing, but I
Okay.
can't break a nail. Oh, ain't nobody got time for that. They're gonna have
I
to
got
go.
you.
They have to go. No
Getting a
shade,
little
no
too
tea.
rough. Getting a little too rough, huh?
Right, right. So, but yeah,
That's
I say the younger the better because you want to show kids that being healthy is a part of life, moving, squatting your body. Like to see so many people our age talking about, I got bad knees, my knees hurt. Shit. Baby, motion is lotion. I'm good.
that.
I don't have aches. No, I'm serious. Like
I love it.
I don't have aches. I don't have aches and
Yeah.
pains. Like that's not normal.
Yeah.
I don't have aches. My mama don't have aches and pains. My daddy very rarely has aches and pains, but you have to
Mhm.
be energy and motion stays in motion. You got to move your body. So, that's where it comes from.
And that's how you stay healthy, because they say when the older people retire, And if they go somewhere and sit down, they start to deteriorate much faster than
Yes,
those who stay active.
yes,
Right.
very
So
true.
that's Johnny on the spot. Um, Now, how can teaching children and young adults boxing techniques assist in their growth, be it physically, spiritually, mentally, or emotionally?
Oh, wow. Well, I believe it does all. So the
Mhm.
physical aspects of being able to um, utilize your body, right? Because I don't know if they have gyms the way we used to have gyms, but I will tell you that when I started the program, a lot of the children's were awkward. And I don't mean that in a bad way. What I mean
Yeah,
is, if I said a jumping jack, they jumping jack was kind of, it was kind of little off.
yeah,
I do have an aspect of my program that focuses a lot on the SEL, which is the social emotional aspect of learning. I feel like since the advancement of technology, our babies have become, I'm thinking of the right words.
mm,
They become more sensitive. And when I say sensitive, I'm meaning that their ability to problem solve and work through adversity has been challenged. It is difficult for a lot of the young children to learn how to read the room,
mhm,
you know, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
um, confidence is something that I see is, I won't say non-existent, but it's lacking, right? So it almost seems, and I don't want this to come off disrespectful to anybody being a parent because I respect you guys and thank you for bringing the future into the world. But it almost seems as if the people our age who had kids, they bubble wrap the kid. Instead of like preparing the kid for the role, they try to like make sure the role prepared for the kid.
yeah,
And so I am oftentimes a big sister and an auntie figure to a lot of my children because if you're not going to talk to your mom and your dad, then I need you to talk to me because I need to know what's going on.
yeah,
So I rented a car. Like I told you, I was in a car accident. Well, my wife was in a car accident and we rented a car. And it's
right.
so off topic, but it's very important. There was an obituary from a 16-year-old girl here from Chicago. And reading through the obituary, because I'm like, where did it come from? I can summate that she committed suicide through reading the obituary. Also, my cousin, we had a funeral this weekend. My cousin, one of her granddaughters, her friends, who's 14, 15, had just committed suicide on Friday. Today is what? Monday. So, whatever they're going through, their understanding of it is so not that deep that the willingness to give up life when you haven't really experienced the essence of what it is to live yet has them feeling like I just give up.
Yeah,
It's scary. It's
yeah,
scary. And it makes me know that the program is needed and that I am needed. I call myself an auntie to all
yeah.
because these babies it's a lot. It's a lot heavy on their shoulders because let me
It is.
remind you, Dama, we went to school together. We didn't have a lot of bullying, neither one of us, because I remember you was on a basketball team, I was a floater. We didn't really deal with
Yeah,
bullying. But
yeah,
when there was an instance of bullying, when you left school, the bullying was over for anybody
that
who
part.
had to deal with that.
Yeah,
These children do not have that same ability, right? I've had children who have been cyberbullied from
yeah,
another state where things have been done to them and stuff has been recorded. So it's just about letting them know love, letting them know discipline, because I'm not gonna lie, I think kids need discipline. They need a certain amount of discipline. And this is just coming through what I do through my programs because you're not finna get in my class and you're not finna run on me. Like I always tell my kids, I'm old
that
enough to
part.
be your mama, but I'm cool enough to be your auntie. Find you something safe to do. So they love that balance of I'm gonna
Yeah.
push you, we're gonna play, we're gonna sing the TikTok dances, but when it's time for you to bring me grades and it's not what
Oh,
it's supposed to be looking like, I will suspend you from training.
that
I
part.
will.
That part.
That to know have somebody that cares. And I just do feel like sometimes these kids are being pushed to grow up so fast. And I'm
Yeah.
thankful that none of my parents did that. But why they got like 22-inch bust downs and they get their nails and they wanna like what happened to like kid stuff? Like,
Don't
do they not
don't
have
get me
stuff?
started. Z, don't get me started on that,
That's
please.
another episode. So basically you
Yeah,
telling me I get to
because
come like 3 4 more times.
as many times as you want, we can talk about all the things. Hey, we might do a couple of
Period.
lives together. Look,
You know what I'm
I'm just
saying?
saying
Yo, let them in, right?
that part. No, for real. But it's like these kids are growing up so much faster,
Mhm.
mentally, but also at the same time, they're maturing. Well, not maturing in that sense, but their bodies, right? Because of all the food and the things that they're eating, that they're getting fed by the parent. You know what I mean? So that's a whole nother.
Yeah, can we have a whole podcast just on the food? I would love to
Look,
talk about food because it's
I
not a
would
fair
love
fight.
to do
I
that.
just want to say it's not a fair fight. Like it's
It's
not even a
not.
point of don't eat the Doritos because the Doritos not good for you. No, we're talking about chemically changing and inducing the food, you not being able to have the capacity to say no. We're talking about addiction. Woo!
Mm.
Mm, mm, mm,
You know
mm.
what? Let me go ahead and schedule this next.
Cause baby,
Yeah,
it's
that's
crazy
definitely another topic we need to talk about because
for sure.
I even myself, going
Hmm.
through my weight journey, weight gain and weight loss and weight gain and weight
Yes.
loss, this, that, and the other, I had to come to realization you have a relationship with food.
Mhm.
You have a relationship with food and you need to control it. Don't let the food control it. Don't let your urges and your cravings control it. You control it, right?
Mhm.
You're the master of your own fate, Dominique.
Yes.
You
Yes.
control how you're going to look at 70 years old. Not
Yes,
nobody
Lord.
else. You.
'Cause I'm gonna die.
Look, I'm trying to still be up, moving around, running and traveling. What you talking about? Right?
That-
I'm trying to
That's
still
right.
be lifting weights, running on a
That's right.
treadmill, doing a 5K, doing something.
Mhm. Mhm.
70 gonna 70 gonna be the new 40. Like
You hear me? I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I ain't gonna lie, because keep seeing these babies at 20 and 30, and they look so rough. Damn.
it's like,
Ooh, did I see that? My bad. I'm
hey,
sorry.
no, no,
I ain't
no,
mean to
you
say.
good, but
I feel like,
no,
look,
it's
I feel
it's
like that
it's
Kevin
real
Hart
talk.
meme. Damn. Damn.
Damn.
How
No,
old
but
is
it's
you?
real,
27. Damn.
right? It's kids in high school that look older than me.
Gotta get your son, drink your water, mind your business off top.
Look. And another thing too, going back to, and like I said, I'm not coming down on parents or anything. I'll be first to say I don't have kids myself. I do plan on having some
Yes.
eventually, but at the same time, I
Oh,
do
you plan
see
on
them.
going down there? Wait. You slipped that in so quick.
Look,
You
we'll
slipped that
talk
shit in.
about that. I do, I
Okay, I'm
do,
quiet. I'm
I do.
quiet.
No, no, I do. Honestly, I do. We'll get there in a minute. We'll get there in a minute.
That's for
Um,
after the podcast. I'm gonna stay on
that
it.
that part, the after show. Um, no, but yeah, I talk about this with my wife all the time. There's a difference in the way our generation is raising kids versus how our parents raised us, right?
Yes.
We weren't
Yes.
necessarily coddled. We were latchkey kids, right? We was out and about. We hit the ground, hurt ourselves. We got up, brushed it
Yes.
off, kept
Yes.
moving. We played on
Yes.
monkey bars that was rusted iron. Like we,
Yes.
you know what I mean? We
Yes.
dealt with a lot, and that's why I will say millennials, our generation, we're tough, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with that, also some of our parents that raised us, they raised us in survival mode, right?
Mhm.
So when you translate that over to us growing up now, how we were
Mhm.
raised versus how we're raising our children, we are doing a lot of coddling. And we're all doing a
She.
lot of, well, no, I don't want you to go there. I don't want you to do that. No, no, no. Uh-uh. And then at the
Mhm.
same time is, well, I didn't have this growing up as a kid, so I want to make sure you have it growing up as a kid. I couldn't get all the latest Jordans, but you gonna get them because mommy got the money. That's what
But
we
there
do.
still needs to be a balance. There still needs to be a balance. You see what I'm saying? There needs to be a
Mhm.
balance. I get it. You can
It
still
does.
allow your kids to get the great new Jordans, but teach them how to use the mop. Like teach them how to actually tell time on a watch that's not digital.
That's not right. You're not pulling your cell phone out. Oh yeah, it's 5:45. No, 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 baby. The second and the hour. What that say?
Right. That you see what I'm saying? Like I need you to,
And the one that
yeah.
keep ticking, that yeah, the minutes and the minutes, the hours, the seconds, And you said, what, a quarter after? You know what that is? You know what a quarter to is? You know what a okay.
Don't know what you mean. They don't even know how to give you change at the restaurants, and they just gotta reach out to.
Girl.
But that's why we're needed. That's why I'm
No,
not in the
definitely.
wrong
We
lane.
go we
Because
gonna stop ragging on them for a minute.
that's why they need to know that it's people out there that care about them. I don't want
So
anything
true.
for my kids. I just want them to be their best selves. Real quick. And so I was in class this Saturday. I always
Yeah.
let my kids pick out certain songs, you know what I'm saying, that they want to hear.
Mhm.
One little boy picked out Maybe by Machine Gun Kelly. Okay.
Okay.
If you know about Maybe, it's kind of like a rock song. So I put it on, I'm vibing to it, he vibing to it. One of the girls was like, what's this? I immediately stopped class because now this is a learning moment.
That
I
part.
said, if everybody gets an opportunity to pick what they want to hear, how dare you try and make him feel bad for his choice? So the young lady was so amazing because I work with my kids for years, right?
Mhm.
She said,
Yes.
I didn't mean it. She said, I didn't mean to be mean. She said, I apologize. I said, and do you accept, they made him accept the apology. I said, but more importantly, in life, people will judge you for your choices that you make in your life. And it's not their life. I want you to feel
Lord.
so confident in the choices that you feel that whatever somebody else says, it doesn't matter to you. So I look at the little boy, and this is how I know energy is real. He kind of puffs up his chest. He like, yeah, because this song is cool. You know what I'm
There
saying?
you
Like,
go.
but that's the point because I like
Yeah.
the song because I have a
Yeah.
very eclectic music variety that I like to listen to. But because you ain't listen to shoot 'em up, killer, pop 'em down, and you
Right.
ain't listen to sexy kid, you're deemed different. So I thought it was a beautiful opportunity to show growth and healing. And those are the types of examples of life lessons that I like to give my kids. I'll take something that we're experiencing and immediately be like, hey, this is a learning opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Talking about the boxing classes again with the kids.
Mhm.
What kind of feedback have you received from some of the children and their parents? I know you said you noticed visually
Mhm.
that their confidence is getting better and things of that sort. But what has been said to you, from them? How do they feel about the class, and how do the parents feel about what's happening in the classes?
Wow. One, I know a lot of them are very grateful for it, and I got receipts. They're very happy. So it's been confident changes. We had a situation over the summer where one child was had a situation with a bully at summer camp, asked the bully to stop picking on him, and then it escalated where the bully thought that he was going to make a physical attempt on the student in my class, and the student in my class did a 1-2, and
Okay.
I received praise from the
Mhm.
mother and the father of one, not only that the child knew how to protect himself in a situation where he was supposed to,
Right.
two, where his confidence and they can tell you're learning something. Now, one of my parents just let me know, and I didn't know this. Some people take their money and just, if the kid is not focused, they just, oh, well, we're not going to pay attention to you. And there's really no ability for them to see their children learning anything or taking anything away from the program. So I've received a lot of good feedback
Awesome.
in terms of confidence increasing, awareness increasing. They do know that because they get money for good grades
Hmm.
and they get the ability to be taken out of class for bad grades. So I do try and make sure that we are a community that your only job is being a student. And I
Right.
get it. It's not, it seems like it's the hardest thing in the world, but learn what you need to learn so that you can really get out and learn yourself,
Yeah,
and that's kind of how I tell them. So yeah, I've received tons of good feedback. Um, I
that's
would
good.
love to grow this program, and eventually kind of place it, in school systems because it's important. And I'll be honest, teaching the kids something other than football and basketball and cheerleading, no shade, no tea,
Hmm.
it teaches them something different. It teaches them, oh my God, I can't stop until the clock is over with. So I have to push myself through. I can't just give up. So yeah, that's
Perseverance.
what I've gotten from yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So they're learning perseverance. They're learning how to push through. They're
Mhm.
learning to use their mind as a muscle because your body's gonna
Yeah.
listen to anything your mind tell you to do. So if you tell your body, okay, I got 30 more seconds. I got 30 more seconds. Come on, let's
It
do it.
will go 30 more
Instead of
seconds.
just,
Yes.
I'm tired. You know what I mean? So it
Mhm.
all comes from up here, and them learning that at such a young age is gonna put them on a positive trajectory for the rest of their life. So thank you, Coach.
That's my hope. Look, that's my hope. That is my hope. That is my hope
That
and my
part.
goal.
Oh, already you done planted so many seeds. Them kids gonna remember you for the rest of their life, girl.
Yeah, good, because I'm sure gonna need them because I ain't got none. I'm gonna be like, can you pull over? Come see me. Come.
So you've described a holistic approach to health that includes mind, body, and spirit, right? Can you share how each of these elements plays a role in achieving a balanced lifestyle?
Mm, mind, body, spirit. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna sound way off right now, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
You good?
So your mind, your body, your spirit. Your body is like, to me, the center. Your body is like the center of your spirit, but your spirit is like a force field that goes outside of your body and it's
Mhm.
like controlled by your mind. I
No,
think
I
that
get
they
you.
are all right. I'm like, it's hard to explain, but I feel like everything is interconnected. So mentally being the best person that I can be starts with me physically being the best person that I can be, which begins with me spiritually being the best person that I can be. They're all like three different subsets. They're on their own levels, but at the end of the day, I can't help anybody until I help myself. And it's sickening that society has programmed us to think that that is selfish. So when you see me, when you waking up, and I've already woken up every day at 12:45 in the morning so that I can get up and pour into myself before I get to the gym. It just
Yes,
makes
yes,
sense because how can I give to you what I don't have? How can I
that's right.
absorb your stuff when I haven't had a chance to sort through my own? And sometimes it
And
is
give from it.
heartbreaking because I know everybody doesn't get the freedom
Mhm.
um that I get, but you have to get to a point where you don't find time, you create it. And you may not have 2 and 3 hours like I have to give to myself to get my faculties together. But 5 minutes, you deserve that. You need that of just
Yeah.
so um you have to ensure that there is a balance. And then I won't lie, I feel unbalanced when I don't do what I need to do for myself. So when I'm not doing my rituals and my affirmations, I feel off. Like I
Yeah.
remember one time I hopped in the shower and I do this specific affirmation and I guess I forgot it. I was my someone else was on my mind. I said, let me turn this water back on because
Yeah.
because what they say is everything is always in the details. So the
Oh,
details
true.
matter, your routine matter, your consistency matters. And I think that sometimes a lot of people forget and think that consistency means, all right, I'm never messing up. I mess up, but it's also giving yourself grace to get back up and keep going. This
Yes.
whole I'm seeking perfection where I'm not going to make no mistakes for 30 days. Like I'm going to do a 75 hard challenge. So you're going to do 75 days of consistency when boo boo, you can't even be consistent for 5 days. Like make it make sense. Slow
Yeah.
it down. Take small bites and stop. I'd rather chew on my greatness, than choke on mediocrity. Like it's like, and then we'll be like,
Yes.
you've been out of shape for 7 fucking years, and now you want to do a 30-day challenge and you wanna have back goals. Shit be pissing me off. I'm sorry. Look, I'm gonna tell
You
this
good,
off to
Z.
you.
You
Sorry.
good. Speak your truth,
Look,
love.
so, you know, but I think that that's what it is. It's about being balanced and it's about doing the work, doing
Yeah.
the work. Do I feel like doing everything that I do? No.
Who
But
does?
sometimes things just have to be done. Things just
Right.
have to be done. You have to see it through. Like, so sometimes when I do a workout, it's just about conquering that moment. Like, I deserve this. I don't feel like doing it right now, but I'm not gonna regret this workout. And that's it. as a trainer, it takes me a lot to do. So I know some people are just like, ah, but you have to be around people that make you want to be your best self. You
Okay.
have to be with a spouse that makes you want to be your best self. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like you really have to look at everything, but it starts with looking in the mirror first. So,
That's all right. So speaking of spouses, real quick. So I got a friend, right, who
okay.
who wants her wife to live a better or a healthier lifestyle, right?
Okay.
So one is already consistently making changes
Yes.
and trying to be the best that they can be.
Yes.
I can't say with the spouse, there's a lot of work, stress life, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Work-life balance is not necessarily there, right?
Okay.
So they both, if they do work out, they're working out at different times of day because work schedules are off, right?
Yes.
So when
Yes.
you
I
have,
personally don't work out with my wife.
okay,
Hmm.
got you. And
Hmm.
I did at one point, but
Oh, hell
we,
no. I
we
shit.
different.
The fuck?
We
Mm-mm.
different.
Baby, what are you
I
talking
figured
about?
out we different when it comes to working out. We're completely
Yeah,
different.
real different. Like, cause I gotta put
Yeah,
my time in. My wife is like one of those, I'm gonna go in and do this little 15-minute, 20-minute workout.
and get back out.
Workout? Oh, no. Now go
Yeah.
ahead. So give me more, give me more.
So, all right. So with that situation, right, all those variables that
Mhm,
I put in there, how
mhm,
can the spouse that's being consistent, right, doing
mhm.
their best to try to do what they can do, how can they encourage or help implement certain things for their other spouse that's trying to get on board, but it just seems like there's just so much holding them back.
Start slowly.
Hmm.
Start slowly. So a lot of times, so people change has to come from within. It it
Hmm.
it has to come from within. So, case in point, when I started like really deep on my like minerals and my herbs and stuff, I never pushed them onto my wife. After her watching me diligently enough, she began to ask. It piqued her interest.
Yeah,
Like, what is it that you be drinking every morning? Like I started oil pulling and I
yeah.
started drinking salt water, rinsing with the Himalayan sea salt. And then I started my Celtic salt. She
Mhm.
slowly started asking. So the best thing, first and foremost, would be continuing to stay on their journey. Because that is the best way that you can show someone that it's possible. It's by doing what you want them to do. Because a
Right.
lot of times, especially with social media, it's do as I say, not as I do. And I hate that shit.
I
I
do too.
hate that. Like, you can't tell me, that you're taking care of your mental and that you're this deep spiritual priestess, and I always see you in drama. Or you can't
Huh.
tell me that you love yourself and you're taking care of yourself, but your ass is eating fake ass chicken and you can't even see
Mm.
your coochie lip. Like it's different things. No, I'm serious because
No, I hear you.
people
I hear you.
fundamentally, and people will rent an Airbnb and rent a vehicle and then tell you that this course will help you become a millionaire while they faking the funk the entire time. So
Hmm.
it's like I make it a point. It is my goal to be unapologetically and authentically myself at
Yeah.
every moment in the day.
Go ahead.
So what we were talking about was the spouse, and the other spouse who's not one to really, get fed. I think that the best thing that they can do is continue walking on the lane that they can.
Yes.
So I think this is where I cut out. I oftentimes ask my wife why she didn't tell me I had became 265 pounds with me. She said, I mean, babe, because you
Yeah.
don't really know you're in the thick of it until you're in the thick of it.
No, true.
And so my advice would be is you can start by cooking more, maybe one meal, a week, because it's all about a life balance. You can start by maybe having some together time of doing some type of stretching or doing a workout together.
Mm.
Start out slowly, but also ultimately to the person who's on the journey already, continue to be on the journey. Okay. Because someone seeing you doing what they want to do at least lets them know that it's possible. And
Yeah.
so like when I do my rules and do my stuff, my wife already knows, even if she's not if she doesn't have to go to work, I still have to go and work out. I have to do what I have to do for me, because if I'm the best me for me, then I'm automatically going to be the best wife for her. And as long as you continue to tell them that that's what this is about, and that's what coming together and creating a household is about. We just want to be our best selves. So don't tell them, don't approach it as, I want to make you feel bad or you need to do more. It's just, baby, have you tried this? Or
Mhm.
maybe try this, or this is something that I'm working on that I found success with. Let me know
Right.
what you think about it. Yep.
That's what's up. I would definitely pass that on. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Of course.
Um, because when you're with someone, of course you want to grow old with them, all that,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like one is might be living one lifestyle while the other's living another lifestyle. And it's like, okay, we got to come together.
Because you got to
At
think
some
about it,
point.
depending on how long you've been with someone, the brain, the personality reinvents itself every 7 years. So
True.
I've been with my wife for 16 years, and we just celebrated 10 years of marriage. So that's at least two different versions of Z's that she's experienced. And now
Yeah.
she's working on her third version. So when we think about that, we're able to give grace. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Because I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't always this cold.
Yeah.
Shit. But I thank her a lot. Oh my God, daily,
Yeah.
um, for just her patience, and her wherewithal to be able to deal with me while I went through my evolution process of becoming the person that I am today.
Awesome. Awesome. So we hadn't really gotten into it. But if you would like to, I know you said you had a life-changing moment where
Mhm.
you had an accident. Do you want to discuss that?
I would love to.
Okay.
I love to share my testimony. Um, because numbers don't lie. February 5th, 2022, I was involved in a head-on collision with someone that changed the trajectory of my life as I know it, as I knew it. Do you know how you can be moving fast or think you moving fast, but you could be moving so fast that you're not moving nowhere and you're just running in place? Did you pick up what I just said?
I did.
Okay. So that's what I was doing.
Okay.
Okay. I was preparing for the Chicago Golden Gloves.
Mhm.
I was just doing a lot. And when the accident happened on a Saturday. I was supposed to be going on a date with my wife, but I had brunch with one of my girlfriends before. So
Mhm.
it had been a long day. I hadn't been home. I don't even think I had really even spoken to my wife that day. We share locations, so we have always shared locations. I swear
Right.
by that. Because I mean, when you're married, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'm too clumsy to fucking cheat. Like I'm gonna get called, you know, I'm gonna get called. She's too smart.
Oops.
Not oops,
Right.
right. So, all I remember is leaving brunch. That's it. That's all I remember is leaving brunch. And cool, I'm on my way home.
Right.
My wife said that she watched my location for a while, and that it was taking me longer than usual. Um, when you're in an accident, when you have an iPhone, your iPhone calls emergency contact in your
Mm.
phone if you have it set up that way. So she said she was calling, I wasn't picking up, she was calling, my phone picks up. She hears me screaming.
Mm.
She said she's never heard me scream like it was like an ear piercing, ear curdling
Jeez.
scream.
Yeah.
So she calls my sister, like something's wrong. So my sister trying to talk off the cliff. She's like, no, fuck that. Something's wrong.
Right.
Watch goes one place, my phone goes to the other. In this head-on collision, the car catches on fire. They have to pull me out. I'm unconscious. They send me to Good Samaritan Hospital. This all happened on Saturday. Saturday, yes. So when my wife and my wife and my sister get there, they're meted by the chaplain. So my little sister like, oh, we don't need you. The chaplain
Right.
is like, sit down, please. Okay. So my wife walk in like, cool. She got insurance. Here go her card. They like, boom, we need to rush into surgery. Cool. So they had to redact about maybe 3 to 4 feet of my bowel, because your intestines in that area is 38 feet long. So it's 38 feet of shit wrapped inside of you. From the impact from the accident, the seatbelt caught and kind of stopped the blood flow. So they had to remove that. I broke 4 ribs. I had 6 nerve palsy. So this eye was over here.
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the accident happened on Saturday. I woke up Wednesday. So they did surgery on me Sunday. They left me open, did more surgery on me Monday. Wednesday, I wake up. Got the catheter. I wake up. I'm like, what's wrong? What happened? Why is everybody looking at me? So what's funny about having a near life to death situation is when everything starts to come back, the first thing that comes back is your sight. So I was able to see. Then sound came back.
Mhm.
So I heard the beeps. I was like, damn, because the first thing I saw was my dad's coat. I said, that's my daddy's jacket. What's my daddy doing at my house?
Mm.
Then I heard beeps. And I said, peeps. No, it sounds like I'm in a hospital. Then I felt pain. Then pain is the last sense you feel.
Yeah.
What the fuck is? And I look down, I'm wrapped. I see kind of like the blood little seeping through or whatever. And then tell him to call my wife. She comes up there. She's like, you were involved in an accident. I'm like, I was. So
Man,
they had already told her there was a possibility that I couldn't come back, you
Mhm.
know, fully in who I was. So
Yeah.
they kept asking me, they kept asking me. Now, I remember nothing of the accident. I remember nothing of during that time, but I do remember one thing. I was walking towards the light, Dominique.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's like a corridor, it's like, okay, it's like a road. And then it's like a big shining light at the end of it. And so I saw the light like from far away. So I was like, cool, well, I'm gonna go to the light because I can't see in the darkness,
Right.
basically. Right. Um, as I'm getting close to the light, about maybe 250, 300 yards out, I see my grandmother.
Mhm.
So now I'm elated. I'm fucking excited. Like,
Right.
boom. I feel like you had a relationship with your grandmother the same way I had a relationship with my grandmother. Like, I'm
Yeah.
the oldest child. Like, that's my ace one. Cool.
Yeah.
So I take off at the speed of light. I'm running. As I'm running, I get into face shot of her and I can kind of make out her face and she's going, go back. But the
Mm.
way she was saying it, sissy, it took me, I had a dead stop, a
Mm.
dead stop. I go, so she's not happy to see me. Like, it's like I'm talking to myself, having a conversation with myself. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
your grandma, but she's not happy to see you. And she's telling you to stop. She's telling you to stop. So listen to her. So I
Mhm.
just listened and I turn around and I run back into the darkness. I've read a lot of books. I've got in hyperbaric chambers. I've tried to recall what happened. I do believe that my grandmother saved me from the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go back through. Remember the poltergeist when we
Mhm.
used to watch the scary movies? What did they
Yeah.
used to say? Step into the light, Carol Ann.
Uh-huh.
Light is what takes you out, right? Because I believe that my body and my spirit are two separate entities. I believe that my spirit had left my body.
Yeah.
It was going to the light, and I was going to be dead if I got to the light.
Yeah.
But my grandma brought me back. So that's the only thing I remember. After waking up on Wednesday, Thursday came around. I had them remove my chest tube and my catheter. Okay, so you know you have to use the bathroom once they remove the catheter. Girl, I had two male nurses that night, so you know they had to wipe. The fuck. So anyway, it gets to Friday. Because my mom is a nurse, I understand that in order for you to get out of ICU and go into the med surg unit, you have to show them that you can kind of walk and So I'm like, well, let's get this wrapped up. Now, mind you, I
Right.
told you I was training for the Golden Gloves because they're like, how the fuck is she walking? How they like I was in some of the best shape of my life. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Prior
Your
to this.
body was already regenerating itself.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, it was. Yes, it was. Saturday comes around. And the doctor comes in and he has his book and he goes, yeah, so Miss McCullough, so we're going to send you to an inpatient rehabilitation clinic for a few weeks. I said, no, you're not. He said, I'm sorry. I said, no, you're not. I want to go home. I want to go home. Well, you need 24-hour care. I want to go home.
That part. Listen to me, Doc.
Period. Right. So I'm thinking I'm shot calling some shit. I'm
Mhm.
like, okay. They leave out, call my wife, ask my wife, would she be able to care for me? Blah, 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 blah. So she has to call her job, her FMLA, blah, 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 blah. They sent me home for 4 weeks with a home health, like a home health nurse to help the cut heal. I had occupational therapist, which teaches you how to use your home now that you're rehabilitating, and
Right.
then a regular PT therapist for 4 weeks.
Mm.
I work with them for 4 weeks. I get discharged from them. I completely become obsessed with, during this time, spirituality, my melanin, because I had one eye that was like over here. What? I'm sorry. What? I need what?
I
Okay.
got you. We got to get the
You
understanding.
got to get the essence of the story,
I
because for
got
real,
you.
this is why I'm the way I am.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna need an optoneurologist, you're gonna have to undergo surgery. I started to do research into melanin. Did you know melanin is in every electronic? Like, melanin allows things to process faster and get there faster, right? And it's activated, and it's um by the sun, right? So I
Right.
got deep into sun gazing. I remember my wife coming home one day, and I had a big ass chair just sitting in the lawn like this, just staring, right? So anyway, as you can see, my eyes are fixed, and I
Thank you,
never
Jesus.
go to optoneurologist, right? And just going down the spiritual journey, I began to realize that this was a matrix. This is a matrix,
Mhm.
and that we can literally create the life that we want based on the frequencies that we put out,
Mm.
and that money is really some made up ass shit, and that the real name for money is currency, which is like the current in a sea. So really money flows to you if you have a good relationship to it, right? So yeah, so that was kind of the accident. The accident changed parts of me, and what I didn't realize is that it changed parts of my circle, people who were affected by it. Um, I'm so grateful for my wife. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful for my family, because they were hell. And I'm not gonna lie, going through something so traumatic, you have to heal in a way. I have to be able to heal so that I could apologize for them for what I put them through. Because that was a lot.
Yeah.
That was a lot. And it was crazy, because as I was going through the healing process, I had a very, very close client of mine who had passed away, and she had two small children. And I had survivor's guilt, being completely honest. And as I was trying to process, well, why me? And I just had to understand and understand that my purpose is not done. It's not my time. And sometimes when you go into that spiritual realm, that esoteric realm, you really start to understand that a lot of the stuff that we be thinking is problems is really not problems. We're not supposed to be worried about how to pay Peter, and honestly, I'm gonna say it, worried about who the fuck is the next president, because at the end of the day, if you don't really know your motherfucking self, none of this shit really matters anyway.
Facts.
You're gonna be lost.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just made a pledge to never lose myself like that, to always be slow and mindful, and just to know myself and to help other people find themselves. So after the accident, it was like everything just, I just accept everything now, and just I go with the flow. But yeah, that was the accident. So
Good.
I always say the accident didn't happen to me, my accident happened for me. And I think that using that methodology and that perspective way of thinking has helped change my life in the best ways possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that testimony, and thank God for your life.
Thank
Um,
you.
I thank God for your grandma. Shout out grandma. Uh,
Well, dang, I appreciate it. I appreciate
hey,
it real bad.
shout out to the ancestors, baby, because she was like,
Yes.
"No, shorty, go back.
Period. And what's so
They
crazy
need you."
is, you know how like your grandma, they cheek shake like, gee, I saw all of that. That was her.
Everything.
That was her. It was her. And I don't know if she used her last little energy or whatever the fuck it was, but the shit scared me so and so. I'm like, Granny,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll never forget that. And it
You
took
almost did. You
a while
almost
for it
did
to
like
come
that
back.
cartoon slide,
I
didn't you?
swear to God, with the feet backing up like
Yeah.
this. I swear. I swear. I swear. But I am so grateful. Um, yeah, she saved my life. Oh, she for sure saved my life. Because I talk to her often.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, it's legions behind me. I be talking to her and talking to somebody else and talking to somebody else. But now it's funny because I've never felt alone, but now I feel like I just have such an army behind me. And when I need to sift through stuff, it's like, come on, help me see it
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
do. You do.
Yes.
And people need to realize that they aren't alone.
Mm,
You know what I mean? It
mm,
People get so stuck on this realm that we
mhm,
living in right now
mm, mm,
and don't realize that there are others.
mm.
And until you get that mindset and you get there and you connect spiritually,
Yes, yes,
you're gonna stay asleep.
yes.
You're gonna stay asleep. That's the thing, connectivity.
Mm,
Connectivity, right?
mm.
So I I am so grateful for you, Z. I'm so grateful for your grandma. I am grateful for your experience. Um,
Thank you.
I know it was rough while you was going through it, but you made it through.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
and it's a blessing.
yes, yes, it
A
is. I
blessing.
received that.
Hey, family. Look, I appreciate you guys always tuning in to Mantle Motivations podcast. As you see, I had to cut this one off because we're going to get back to part 2 next week. We're going to finish up this podcast with Coach Zee with Focused and Fit Training. You guys don't want to miss it. So go ahead, make sure you tune in next Wednesday, October 30th, to see the remainder of this amazing podcast that we finished up. I hope you guys have been enjoying what you've been hearing and seeing so far. So come on back next week and get the rest of it. You don't want to miss it. Trust me. All right, guys. Peace and love. Redirection. Tired of being tested on the same